Hi, my name is Bob Brennaman. I'm a realtor in Mount Pleasant, and today I'm going to take you in the car and we're going to drive through South Mount Pleasant and check out a neighborhood that I like and talk about some of the other neighborhoods and do a little look at the commercial, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, guys, so we are pulling into Ion and we're in South Mount Pleasant, really close to the Ravenel Bridge, and we're going to just take you through here, kind of show you what has happened since the early 1990s is when Ion came out of the ground. So you've got commercial in the front of the neighborhood, as you're seeing as we're kind of pulling through here. And there are about, I want to say 646 homes inside of Ion, about 330 acres total. This neighborhood has done nothing but appreciate. Even during the downturn in the economy in like '08 and we had the housing crash, there were very few foreclosures or short sales or anything back here. So it holds up really well. And you'll see as we kind of go through here this morning, the reasons that it kind of holds up very well. It's just architecturally, it's very pretty. And the proximity to downtown Charleston, I think, is what really sets this neighborhood apart besides the architecture. And we've done this, we've been through here before, and if you watched our videos in the past, you've seen us shoot, we've had listings back here obviously, and we've done some of these driving tours, but this is an updated one, and hopefully you'll be able to share a little more information maybe I haven't shared in the past about Ion. So a little commercial there, I think it's called Bakey's or something like that, and it's a little bake shop. So we're going to wait for this dump truck to get by us, and then we're going to get over to the lakes. So if there is a downside to Ion, I mean, I don't really think this would be a big downside, but is this is the main road. We're on Shellmore, and you can see as we're coming through here, there is it can be a little tight. I always tell everybody though, Ion is a great neighborhood to walk, and you can come back here. So, it's not private, so you can, these are public sidewalks and public streets, and you may get a different feel because, sometimes I'll take people back here and they're like, this feels kind of tight. Everybody loves the look for sure, but some people feel like it's tight, and I always think that if you're trying to evaluate this neighborhood, a lot of times being in a car makes it feel closer together than what it actually is. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as we go through here. So Guild of Builders built this. It's really built out. I think maybe there's one or two lots potentially. They'd be insanely expensive, but and they've been resold multiple times. So this is really built out. A lot of the highest end builders in Charleston have built back here over the decades that Ion has been being built out. And probably I'm hoping as we're riding through here, seeing just the architectural style, how appealing it is to so many people, including me. And it's a good hedge if you like the older looking architecture. Again, these houses are no older than the early to mid 1990s, and some of them were built here recently, probably 2015, 2020 range. Okay, so we're pulling up, and you can see East Lake and West Lake. We'll pass by these two lakes that kind of the neighborhood is built around, and just it's gorgeous, I think. Very expensive, so this is always is not a neighborhood for everybody's price point, and you're probably looking on the best day $1 million to get in here, and that's would be take a little bit of probably looking to find something. Most of these homes are multi-million-dollar houses, but again, if you have the coin for it, I think that you'd be buying in a neighborhood that is held up very well, even in the worst of real estate markets, and would be just a great place to call home. I know the people I've helped buy houses back here have not moved out of Ion, and I've been doing this for I think almost 25 years now. So we're sliding by, and we're going to go over the little bridge. So the thing that another thing I like about Ion, besides the lakes, is the way they've borrowed from different cities throughout the world, whether, Copenhagen, Denmark, some other European cities this neighborhood has been modeled after it. They've even modeled after some of the streets streets in Boston and in some of the historic parts of New York. So there's a lot of influence of other cities into the way Ion was built. And I always tell everybody, I think I've said it before in these videos, is that there's an old YouTube video. Vince Graham is the lead developer, the guy who kind of came up with this, and he put up a video, I mean, it's been decades ago, of him pitching the town of Mount Pleasant on it. It's very informative about the way that he, brought everything together. And you can kind of see out down there the canals that connect East Lake and West Lake and the little houses that line up over them. So definitely a beautiful spot. But very tight back here today. A lot of construction work. So with the houses being the age that they are, oftentimes you find that people are doing full renovations and gutting these houses and redoing the insides to kind of match up what they want today. So we're gonna, there's, to point out the other things that are back here that we won't see. There's a boat dock in the back of the neighborhood, and there's miles and miles of walking trails that kind of run through the bird sanctuary, which is right beside us to the left. You can't see it from the car, but there's a bird sanctuary right in the center, and all these trails kind of interconnect around the neighborhood, and then they feed you back into the front part of the neighborhood, which we came into, where the commercial and all that stuff is. So as we head out of here, there's a lot of neighborhoods in South Mount Pleasant. A couple more that I really like would be Old Village and Old Mount Pleasant, and we've done videos on those you can watch. Old Park, which is adjacent to where we are right now, so it kind of ties into Ion. Old Park, very similar architecture, but much bigger lots. And Hobcaw Creek, which is just down the road from us, a great old neighborhood with a yacht club and everything. So definitely worth checking out. And I say with all these videos, you can call or text me at 843-345-6074, and I can personalize suggestions for neighborhoods that fit your price point and your goal. So again, as we ride through these three areas of Mount Pleasant, rather, we're going to look at today, South Mount Pleasant, where we are now, Central, and North Mount Pleasant. There's a lot of neighborhoods, and for the sake of time, we can't shoot them all. So we're going through them. Again, I'm happy to talk to you about anything related to these neighborhoods and can give you good suggestions. The thing that I wanted to show you about South Mount Pleasant is what's around it, and we'll do this in the other places we're going to go to. But I want to kind of take you through some of the commercial, and then from there we will go on up to the central part of Mount Pleasant. But here we go. From here is right across the street to some good shopping, and we'll be there in just a minute. All right, y'all, so we just came across the street from Ion, and we're maybe, I don't know, a mile or so, and we're just going to pull through the Trader Joe's as soon as I can get in here. Of course, I'm getting blocked up a little bit because Trader Joe's is always busy, as it should be. I just wish we had more of these in Mount Pleasant. Of course we come in here. Okay, a little bit of car jockeying to get to where we need to be. And, so right where we are right now, again, very close to Ravenel Bridge, directly behind Trader Joe's is Shem Creek. So, that's a very popular area, and that's where Old Village and Old Mount Pleasant is. So very close to that, and again, always popular. And gosh, 11:18 in the morning, and Trader Joe's is jam-packed. All right, y'all, so we just down from Trader Joe's, we're going to spin through the area that has Whole Foods, and I do this because honestly, I've had people over the decades of doing this tell me that the reason they ended up moving here is because they had a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods. So hopefully that's some motivation for y'all that are watching this. Really like that restaurant to the right. So Melvin's, and we don't have a shot of it. Well, maybe we do. This restaurant right here, great place for a burger. I mean, one of the best cheeseburgers you can get at a drive-through window any place I've ever been. So I highly recommend that if you're over here. But this shopping center was the first shopping center I ever came to when I moved here, moved to Mount Pleasant 30 plus years ago. And it was a buy-low back then, and it's obviously since transitioned into Whole Foods. I really like the restaurant back here called Gray's, so I recommend that if you're in the neighborhood and you want to have a good place to have a sit-down lunch or dinner, both lunch or dinner, and they have a great brunch on Sundays. But again, Whole Foods Market right here in front of us, and we're drifting ever so close to downtown Charleston. I would say we're about a mile from the Ravenel Bridge at the moment. And so what we're going to do from here is we're going to head out of this parking lot, and we're going to show you, show you what is down here in South Mount Pleasant by these neighborhoods that we're talking about, and just give you a little bit of a look at the Ravenel. And we'll be down there in just a minute. All right, y'all, so we are just down from the Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, and we're literally as far as you can get south in Mount Pleasant. Patriots Point golf course is over to our left. Good golf course, pretty flat. It's a links course, so it should be. Beautiful vistas, not the best course in Mount Pleasant, but if you're a golfer, I think you would enjoy it. And you can see to our left is part of the College of Charleston's baseball facility. Town of Mount Pleasant kind of uses some of the College of Charleston stuff, so you can, if you're living here and your kids are playing rec sports, they have access for some of their games, and there's soccer fields back there too that they use and share with the College of Charleston. And we're down by Patriots Point. The Yorktown is down here. I don't know. I think I'm gonna probably turn around before we get too close to it. If you're in Charleston, that's not a bad thing to do. If you want to have some, do something different, the Yorktown is a good way to look at the way sailors lived back in, I guess, the 1920s, 30s is probably when that ship was commissioned. So it's worth an afternoon, or a couple hours anyway. I don't know about an afternoon. And then at the very end of this road that we're on, and we won't go to the end of it, is a high-end 2 hotels and a very nice marina. So if you're wanting to find a place to have a cocktail and watch the sunset, the Patriots Point Marina is a good place to do that. So we're just going to turn back around, and we're going to spin through underneath the bridge, get you a little bit more of the Ravenel will be up on our left, and then we will make our way up to the central part of Mount Pleasant. But again, I want to get you just a little more look down here, because all this is, if you live in Mount Pleasant, you have access to all this, and I think there's many great things about living in Mount Pleasant. One of them, in my opinion, is all the public land and all the really pretty vistas, whether, the parks in Shem Creek or the parks that are down here that we'll ride by in a minute, just give you the opportunity to, have a lot of really pretty things to look at, laid back. And again, where we sit now in South Mount Pleasant, if you're, wanting the best of Mount Pleasant, to me, hands down, South Mount Pleasant's the place to be. It's more expensive, but being able to get to downtown Charleston, there's a lot of upside in that, I think, for anybody. But even if you live in North Mount Pleasant, you're still 30 minutes from downtown Charleston. Not a bad thing for most of y'all probably watching this video, or coming from big cities and are used to driving a long ways and sitting in traffic. So this is this is much easier to deal with. And you can kind of see, and we'll get it out here, the left-hand side in here in a minute. There's some high-end condos back to our left, and then Ravenel Bridge that goes into downtown Charleston is where we are at the moment. And there's a new Embassy Suites hotel that opened here recently, and they're continuing to just develop this part of South Mount Pleasant. All right, that's a wrap, y'all. Again, if you like our videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch a ton of videos about Mount Pleasant that I've shot over the years by checking out our YouTube channel. And if you have questions, you can always call or text me at 843-345-6074. You can check out our website for all of Charleston, which is brennamangroup.com. Until next time, y'all.